Forged by fire and rain, climate, survival, and life shaped the Sonoran Desert. When most people picture a desert, they imagine emptiness, an expanse of heat, sand, and silence. The Sonoran Desert tells a different story, a system shaped by climate, carved by geology, and sustained through species interactions. To understand it, we must begin with a simple question. What makes a desert a desert? My name is London Davis, and welcome to Forged by Fire and Rain. According to Andre 2023 and SCN 301, Module 2, there are 4 deserts in North America: the Great Basin Desert, the Mojave Desert, and the Chihuahuan Desert, and of course the Sonoran Desert. According to SCN 301, Module 1 and Module 2, deserts are defined by low precipitation, generally 10 inches or less annually. The Sonoran Desert receives between 3 and 15 inches of rainfall yearly. Despite limited water, it is the most biodiverse desert in the world. The reason for this begins in the atmosphere. Climate. A desert of extremes. In Module 5 of SCN 301, we dive into the Sonoran Desert environment, which sits beneath descending dry air from the Hadley Cell, suppressing rainfall. But unlike other deserts, there are 2 rainy seasons: winter frontal storms and intense summer monsoons. Global systems like El Nino and La Nina further shape the desert. El Nino often produces wetter winters, leading to wildflower blooms and increased animal reproduction. La Nina can intensify droughts, stressing life. Temperature can exceed 120 degrees Fahrenheit and fall below freezing. Such unpredictability demands adaptation for survival. Here we can see winter rains gently recharging soils and aquifers. Summer monsoons bring dramatic lighting, flash floods, and bursts of productivity, awakening the desert from the endless heat of the sun, turning an arid environment into vibrant pulses of flowers, insects, and animals. Beneath it all, soil weaves the foundation of life, holding nutrients and water, stabilizing roots, and shaping the fragile balance of this ecosystem. As we highlighted in Module 3 and Module 4, beneath this monsoon rain lies a landscape shaped by geological history. The Sonoran Desert sits within the Basin and Range province, formed nearly 20 million years ago, when Earth's crust stretched and fractured, creating mountains, valleys, and life-sustaining aquifers that slowly release water during dry months. Mountain building, erosion, and volcanic activity shaped the region's soil fertility and hydrology. The sedimentary process created minimal mineral-rich soils, while the desert pavement reduces erosion and protects nutrients. Together, these forces form the physical foundation that allows life to endure in extreme conditions. The saguaro is a keystone species and endures by using structural adaptations. Its plated stem expands to store water, and spines shade the waxy skin. It is considered a keystone species because it provides nesting sites, food, and shelter for dozens of organisms, including birds, bats, and insects. When saguaros thrive, entire food webs are supported around them. Evading the sun, the desert tortoise is a keystone species that retreats into burrows, spending up to 95% of its life underground. A strong behavioral adaptation using timing and shelter guides its survival where heat is deadly. It burrows also allow refuge for other species such as reptiles, mammals, and invertebrates, making it an ecosystem engineer whose survival directly influences community stability. And lastly, the brittlebush isn't a keystone species, but it is vital to the ecosystem as a nurse plant. It withstands drought at a cellular level, utilizing psychological adaptations. Its fuzzy silver-gray leaves reflect the sun and trap moisture. Energy begins with producers like the saguaro, brittlebush, and mesquite. These fruit Their fruit feeds primarily consumers such as antelope, squirrels, and wood rats, which are then eaten by predators like rattlesnakes and red-tailed hawks. As organisms die, nutrients return to the soil, showing how energy flows through a tightly connected Sonoran desert food web. McKenzie, 2022, explains how complex food webs illustrate ecological interactions in ecosystems. This is a beautiful example of the food web, truly showcasing the connection that the keystone species have to one another in the Sonoran Desert. As we've seen, climate shapes the desert, geology builds its foundation, and adaptation allows life to survive. But interaction is what holds it all together. In the Sonoran Desert, no organism exists in isolation. Energy flows through food webs, nutrient cycles, through the soil, roots, plants, and survival. All depends on the constant exchange between species and their environment. Through mutualism, species cooperate to increase access to water, nutrients, and reproduction. Through predation, populations are regulated, preventing imbalance and protecting vegetation. And through competition, organisms are pushed to specialization. Through these relationships, create resilience in a land defined by heat, drought, and unpredictability. It is not just adaptation that sustains life, it's connection. The Sonoran Desert is not defined by what it lacks, but by how life responds to what it offers. In Module 1, I saw deserts as dry and extreme. Now I understand them as dynamic systems shaped by climate, geology, and connection. I was most surprised by its biodiversity and the complexity behind escape evasion and endurance strategies. This course and changed how I perceive the desert around me, not as a space, but as a living structure. Moving forward, I will apply this understanding to think more critically about conversation, land use, and the fragile balance that sustains life here. Forged by fire and rain, the Sonoran Desert provides that resilience is built through adaptation and relationship. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I've been your host, London Davis.